Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Martha Ayala, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. As a reminder, I do every video in English and Spanish, and the degree theory is based on modern Western astrology using the Placidus house system. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about an annular solar eclipse on February 17th in Aquarius at 28 degrees and 56 minutes. Now, this is a new moon solar eclipse, meaning that solar eclipses bring new beginnings. However, this month of February, we have a lot of important things happening. We have the start of a new eclipse cycle, which is the Aquarius Leo axis. We have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction 3 days later on February 20th, and we have Mercury going retrograde in Pisces towards the end of the month. I already did a video on the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and of course, I will be doing another one on the Mercury retrograde. Um, I had wanted to get this video out a little bit sooner, but life has gotten a little bit difficult for me personally. So, in addition to the eclipses or the eclipse, we have a stellium of planets in Aquarius. We have the sun, the moon, um, we have Mars, we have Pluto. So there's a lot of rebellious energy in the air, not to mention, the protests, right? That's why things are getting a little bit out of hand. I think February is the most difficult month of this year. And I think March brings a little bit of a breather from what I saw in the aspects, but it was really briefly. There's only one day in March where it's going, it can be a little difficult, but all the way through the summer, we might continue to see things heat up. I'm sorry to say. I hope not, like I hope that it's not the case, but that's what I see. Now, this eclipse is far away from the nodes because the lunar nodes are in Pisces and Virgo at 9 degrees. And it is said, of course, that eclipses bring fated events. Eclipses, just like Mars, are triggers, right? But the eclipses are the ones that send you on a new path, right? Especially when there's a new moon solar eclipse. Now, let me bring up the chart so we can talk. And the way I get this chart is I first go to astro-seek.com and I go here, right? And then I pull up eclipses, solar and lunar, and you have to go here through the tabs. And then you click, here's the one on February 17th, 2026. You click on the eclipse chart, and then voila, this is the eclipse chart for this eclipse coming up. Let me put this here so it'll go away. Now you can see, here we go. A new moon solar eclipse means that both the sun and the moon are conjunct or they are together. We have, like I said, a whole slew of planets. We have what's called a stellium. A stellium is a group of planets that's either in the same sign or the same house. Like it's a lot of concentration there. We have the moon, the sun, Mars, and Pluto, all in Aquarius. Now, we also have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, and on the 17th, they're not exactly exact, pardon the redundancy. It's 0 degrees, but this is 38 minutes and this is 23 minutes. So in 3 days, Saturn will catch up to Neptune. So, and of course, 0 degrees Aries is the Aries point. It's a new beginning for the world. Now we have Uranus, this little guy here, at 27 degrees in Taurus, and it is squaring this eclipse. So Uranus, it is the modern ruler of Aquarius. So of course, squares are challenges. They are the most difficult aspect that you can have in astrology. Eh, Uranus happens to be at 27 degrees, which is the degree of Gemini, and Mars happens to be at 19, which is the degree of Libra. So I wonder, Libra rules China. So I wonder if this opens the window for China to make a move on Taiwan. Now, with Uranus squaring this new solar eclipse, this is an aspect that can catch us off guard. It's going to be a surprise, a shock, because, and it's both on a mundane level and on a personal level for those, especially for those people that have planets plus or minus 5 degrees of Aquarius. And of course, if you have planets in Leo, in Taurus and Scorpio, in the fixed signs, then this can you're the ones that are going to be affected by the eclipse. Now, for let me see, Aquarius and Leo. Leo is an opposition, and Taurus and Scorpio are squares. So Taurus and Scorpios are the ones that are going to have the most challenges because an opposition is a decision that you need to make. Either go one way or go another. Now, eclipses, usually this energy is felt either 1 month prior or 1 month after. That is like, I don't know if you guys remember in high school that curve that you got taught in, or maybe in college, in economics, the bell curve of where at the top of the curve is where the 95% chance of it happening. So you guys that have 5 degrees with, close to this 28 degrees of Aquarius, almost 29 degrees, you guys will be experiencing this eclipse big time. Okay, so what does this all mean? On a mundane level, we can have earthquakes. Uranus is squaring the sun and the moon, right? Um, it's an earth sign. So that's what one of the things that can happen. It's at 27 degrees, so that's the degree of Gemini. So this is not going to be the best time to travel either by airplane or fast trains because Uranus rules both of those. There can also be shakeups. We've already seen the stock market be very volatile, which is another thing that's, going to continue. But especially the price of gold. And, stay with me. Let me explain, why I'm saying this. The sun is the ruler of Leo. And when the sun is in Aquarius, the sun is in detriment. So that means that the sun doesn't feel all that great because it's in the opposite sign of its rulership, right? Therefore, to me, the price of gold is going to be very volatile. And it already started, but it will continue, I think, for at least a couple of months. Um, I had told you guys, if you guys are regular viewers on my channel, what I had done, and again, this is not financial advice, but I had said that I had put stop loss orders on my silver and my oil stocks. And at the end of January, we had this, I mean, the silver collapsed basically, and those stop loss orders triggered. So I sold, Again, I'm just saying what I did. I'm not giving you guys financial advice. Because since I have Neptune in the eighth house, um, Neptune is losses. Eighth house is money that comes in all at once, and it also rules the stock market. And, you know, I take precautions because I'm a chicken when it comes to that. So again, both my silver and my oil stocks sold. But with this volatility going on, and I gave you guys the four gentlemen that I follow on YouTube that are financial experts when it comes to the stock market. It's the video that I did on the financial 2026, something like the finances of 2026 or something like that. You'll see it. I posted it not too long ago. So if you're interested in looking at that, you can go ahead and review it. So when this thing happens, there can be, and I'm following mostly Gareth Soloway. There can be an opportunity to buy gold if that's what, you guys can afford it, right? Um, or silver, it's either at $71 or at 50, from 50 to $54 is where he's going to go back in. Um, so if you guys want to take a look at that or just follow his videos on the financial stuff, I would highly recommend that. Now, this eclipse, switching now to more important things, this eclipse is opposite to President Trump's ascendant because President Trump's ascendant is at 29 degrees of Leo. It is conjunct Regulus. So this eclipse can have, and again, not that I wish it upon him or upon anybody. I am just saying the potential of things that can happen, right? With eclipses happening on your rising sign in your first house, you need to be careful that you don't fall, right? You can have accidents. Health issues can come up. And then if you guys remember his chart, he has the MC is Uranus is conjunct his MC, right? If this were his chart, the MC is the highest part of his chart. Since he's a Leo rising, you have to flip the chart around. So Uranus is going to be up here because Taurus is up here, right? Um, this means because this eclipse is going to be squared by Uranus, there can be another attempt on his life. There can be, like I said in the other video, and I don't want to be redundant here and go through all the things, but there could be a change in power. He could have a change in his career. So he can, God forbid, if he has something health-wise come up, he can be either temporarily removed, maybe he needs surgery or something like that, or and then JD Vance would take over for a little while or maybe permanently. Um, and JD Vance has a similar chart to Donald Trump because they're both Leo rising. So it's interesting to see. But anyway, I did another video, an update on President Trump, President Putin, and President Xi Jinping from China. So if you want even more details, you can go check that out. And you guys have to remember that with this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, the fixed star sheet is at 29 degrees of Pisces right here. So this is why we're seeing so many bad storms, both snow and just regular storms for people. And I'm sorry, but I have a cold, so and that's why I sound so nasally. So this is why we're having bad storms, either snow-wise or, for people that are in the summertime now, these storms carry a lot of water. There could be an increase of tsunamis because if we have earthquakes, we know that earthquakes trigger tsunamis, um, typhoons, lightning storms, like, Uranus, it rules electricity. So, this is on a monthly level what can, just briefly what can happen. On a personal note, we have a lot of energy in Aquarius, so this part of your chart is going to be emphasized big time. Of course, for people with planets, I would say plus or minus 3 degrees from 28 degrees. So, uh, for the rest of us that don't have planets near those degrees, there's still going to be a lot of energy there, but you won't be affected as much. And like I mentioned with Leo, because it's the opposite, there's a decision that needs to be made. With Taurus and Scorpio, then it's more of a challenge that comes up. So, um, this eclipse is going to give you a taste of when the lunar nodes come into Aquarius and Leo this summer, later this summer. Now, remember, because some people don't know this, is that, see, this is the lunar node, this is the north node, and this is the south node. The nodes travel backwards. They go opposite to the rest of the astrology, like the planets, right? So these little guys travel backwards. And but right now they're at the Pisces of Virgo axis. So they're not, there's like a really, really wide conjunction, right now. Um, but anyway, eh, when they do go in, the north node will be in Aquarius, the south node will be in Leo. So try to remember what was happening in your life 18 and a half years ago, between, let's say, 2007, 2009. Think back what themes came up 18 and a half years ago. Chances are the same themes will come up again. Now, for example, if you had a baby 18 and a half years ago, that doesn't mean you're going to have another baby now, but maybe that baby who's now 18 is going to go to college this fall, right? So the same things or the same themes that happen in those wherever your Aquarius house falls, this is the same thing is going to happen or very similar, right? All right, so let's take a look at the 12 ascendants, what this new moon solar eclipse cycle will that's beginning in Aquarius. The Aquarius part of your chart is going to come with a shock and awe, a surprise, a new development, something that's you didn't expect. Now, let me stop sharing and let me get my, here we go. All right, so for Aries rising. For Aries rising, this new moon solar eclipse is happening in your 11th house. This is not a bad placement, new friends, new associations, new social groups, or it can also mean that you file for retirement. It's a new start, a new life. Um, and even if I don't think Aries could ever retire. And I'm an Aries rising. I'm always up to something, right? Whether it's whatever. So we don't rest. We continue. We make up things and we make up projects. But anyway, for those Aries that are thinking about retirement, then this is a new moon solar eclipse that maybe this is where you say to your boss, hey, here's my letter. I'm retiring in a month or something like that. On or another possibility, there could be new goals. And honestly, um, things with a new friend. And new friends that are coming in are these new people are very different than what you're used to. It's Aquarius. They can be friends that can be very techy, that like astrology. They could be very eclectic, very different, a bit rebellious too, right? Because it's Aquarius, but very good friends. Aquarius typically are very, very good friends. All right, so Taurus. For Taurus rising, this eclipse happens in your 10th house. So obviously 10th house is career, your job. So there could be a start of a new job. If you are looking for another position, please apply after this eclipse, right? Maybe 2 or 3 days after the eclipse. This could also mean, unfortunately, that you can be let go of your current position, or it can be that your boss leaves or your boss retires, right? Something is eclipsed. There's a new start in your career. So either it's you that you get a new position, or maybe your boss retires, or you can get a promotion. Maybe they give you a promotion. um Also, 10th house is the way society sees you, so you can be getting married, hopefully not on the day of the eclipse, because eclipse energy, especially with square to Uranus, is very volatile. um, but you could be having a baby because 10th house is how society, the status that you have in society. So if you're single, you can be getting married. You can be having a baby. If you are a sun sign in Aquarius, then that means job for sure. You can get there will be a change in your career. Let's put it that way. Um, Perhaps, you get your dream job, right? The one that you always wanted, but you were scared to try, for that manager position or for that director position. And whatever happens will happen suddenly, out of the blue, like a shock and awe effect. For Gemini, for Gemini, this eclipse happens in your ninth house. Now, this is a good placement for an eclipse. It's a new adventure. A long distance trip opportunity can, all of a sudden come up. Or you decide to apply to the university and you get accepted, and you didn't think you were going to get into this university that you really wanted because it's, very exclusive, and bam, you get the good news that you have your acceptance letter. You can also start a legal case, although I wouldn't start it on the day of the eclipse, but that's something that can also happen. Or you can start a course on religion, philosophy, even occult studies or astrology. All right, Cancer. For Cancer rising, this eclipse happens in your eighth house. So, okay, so here we have a new path for you to review your finances. So here we go. You can start estate planning. Review your eighth house is joint resources, right? Because second house is my money. Eighth house is our money. Your whatever, for those of you that are married or you're living with somebody, you have a relationship. So you're going to be reviewing your joint resources, your investment strategies, uh, from all the money that you made, hopefully from silver and oil, right? Just kidding. Whatever investments you choose, right? So you're going to be reviewing all of that. Now, maybe you decide to meet with a financial advisor to start your retirement planning, right? It's never too late, right? You should get things started, and this would be a great opportunity. Eighth house is also loans, debts. So you may be get the news that you got approved for your home mortgage, right? Because you bought a property. Leo. For Leo, this eclipse happens in your seventh house. So, seventh house is your long-term partnerships, both in love and business. So, of course, seventh house is marriage, or also if you're living together with somebody. So it's a new beginning. So make sure that this eclipse, if you're single, look your best, dress up, perfume, cologne, makeup, neat appearance to help attract that new person that's coming in. Okay. If you're already married, you can then start something new with your spouse, like having date nights. every X number of days and do something fun because it's, you guys are Leo. You like to have fun, right? So Virgo. For Virgo, for Virgo, this is happening the eclipse is happening in your sixth house. Now, Virgos are pretty methodical. They're perfectionists, but here we're talking about a new diet, um, healthier eating, which I know is a rare concept for Virgo because like I said, they're very good at being very methodical in everything, not just the way they eat. Um, like these people are typically vegan, or if you have Virgo in the second house, which is what you eat, they go for vegetarian, vegan stuff. You can have a start of a new exercise routine. Of course, always consult with your primary care physician, but you can have a new routine or process at work, or maybe even get a new job. Because a sixth house is not a promotion, it's just maybe you go work for another department, but at pretty much the same level. It will be like a lateral move. It wouldn't be a promotion. So, and even the best news that can happen is that a new pet can just show up at your doorstep. You can pick up a stray, or maybe you want to go get a new pet. So this eclipse would be a very good time to do that. Libra. For Libra, this eclipse is in your fifth house. Oh my God, Libra. I hope that this eclipse brings in the boyfriend or girlfriend of your dreams. It's a great opportunity to meet someone. It's a great opportunity to go. I mean, of course, if you're single, right? Um, Vacations, fifth house is vacations. Maybe all of a sudden there's an opportunity to go on vacation. Um, a trip that comes up, even if it's a weekend thing. You can start a new hobby, or maybe the shock and awe is that you find out that you're pregnant, especially with your firstborn child. So that is always a very interesting thing. But anyway, the fifth house brings positive new beginnings, and all of these events are fated. So it's not like you did anything wrong or anything like that. A child is always a blessing. All right, Scorpio. For Scorpio, this eclipse happens in your fourth house. So for Scorpio, this can trigger a move. Um, or maybe you're closing on a house or an apartment that you bought, or a real estate deal, or you put an offer on a property and it gets accepted, and you didn't think that they would take such a low offer, and bam, here we go. You got it. The realtor calls you and says, "Hey, congratulations, your offer has been accepted." And you didn't think that that was going to happen. For Sag, for Sag, the eclipse happens in your third house. So where are you going? What trip? What weekend trip or short distance trip are you taking? Because Sag loves this energy. Taking short trips. Or perhaps third house, maybe you have, and it's Aquarius, so it's like techie stuff. You're going to be learning some new program at work, or some new something in school, or maybe you decide to get a course on computers and to help you navigate this whole AI thing that's, coming up. Or maybe it's a new start with your sibling or your cousins, extended family, your aunts, uncles. Maybe you had a dispute or something with one of those people, and this is an opportunity to, kind of mend things. Your neighbors. Third house is also your neighborhood. Maybe your neighbors volunteer you to be the head of your HOA or some project for your community out of the blue. And, surprise, here we go, shock and awe. Capricorn. Capricorn, this eclipse is happening in your second house. So there could be a new source of income, a side gig. Maybe you're going to monetize a hobby that you've been doing. Maybe you decide to start cooking again. Instead of eating out all the time, because Capricorn is always very busy at work. So, you need to arrange your schedule different. And in order to save money, you're going to start cooking again. Or maybe you want to try a new type of food, something like something spicy or Italian, or making your own food from scratch. Eh, Perhaps you want to start new investments because second house is things that you own, right? Your assets. So maybe you buy gold or something of value, gold is obviously something of value, but like real estate, it's an opportunity. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. The solar eclipse happens in your first house. This is you. And this one is big because it's all about you. It's going to square your 10th house because anything that happens on the first house squares the fourth and the 10th, and then it opposes the seventh. So eh, the fourth and 10th houses, so career and home may be triggered. Maybe you get a new job that you need to relocate. And not only do you have a new job, but you need a new place to live. So a new career uh, can be possible. The eclipse also focuses on you. So it's a new start for you. Either exercise, diet, lifestyle, everything could change all of a sudden. And Aquarius is a fixed sign, so you guys might not be too thrilled that this change is happening, but it's a fated thing. It's also, the eclipse is going to oppose your seventh house. So if you are single and looking, look your best. Get out and about. Don't be stuck at home, right? Go to different places. Not the ones that you usually go to. Go to, I don't know, art shows, techie shows, places where you usually don't hang around. Try something different to see if maybe you beat somebody. Pisces. For Pisces, this eclipse happens in your 12th house. So this is a new start. Well, 12th house is a house of solitude, meditation, yoga, spirituality, things that are happening behind the scenes. Eh, so maybe you're going to have a new start in a routine in any one of these areas that you're going to be totally surprised that you actually once you try it, did you actually like it? So maybe it's about starting therapy or past life regression. And this new start can come out of the blue because remember, Uranus is involved. So you might try something that is so outside your usual thing that is going to shock you how much it benefits you. All right, guys. So with this, I conclude this video. Like I said, February is going to be a difficult month, the most difficult one of the year. So I hope that this helps you a little bit better to navigate the energy that is coming up. And as always, if you would like a natal chart reading with me, please send me an email to amaastrology@aol.com. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, send it to someone else that it may interest, and I will see you in the next video.